right, we're back after what felt like 2 months.
Weeks.
How long was it for real?
What is time?
What is time?
Guess who just got back today?
What is time?
Time.
What are pants?
Feelings.
Cold jeans.
Yeah. What's happened in 5 weeks? We've become a free jazz spoken word group at this point.
Guys, we've changed.
We went full beat comics.
We sold out is what we did.
Oh, no.
We did it.
No, I think we did, didn't Tom and I do a podcast, when we were still, separate households?
The From the Bottom one.
Tom and I did the From the Bottom one.
But then you did another one.
I feel like we did a different one,
about
too.
A bunch of different acts. I really like that one because in this COVID coronavirus time, it's like everyone's bored out of their mind. So it's like you left all these breadcrumbs for different artists that people can look up and listen to. And I
people
that cool.
released music in quarantine. And then you guys did the really cool one about Nirvana and Led Zeppelin.
Yes.
Or not, sorry.
I did the same thing the whole podcast.
You did that 3 times.
Oh my God. I called Skinner Led Zeppelin. I think it's a L in the beginning.
You and I have the same brain issues.
He literally did that
Not
3 or 4 times during the podcast.
I think I have a little bit
We'll call them hiccups. We'll call them brain hiccups.
He's like, Led Skinner, Leonard Zeppelin.
Len Zeppelin.
Well, when we covered, what did we cover where I kept calling it a train crash instead of a plane crash? Dude, your brain just...
Now I'm really trying to figure out who died in a plane.
Oh, it was the day the music died.
Leonard Skinner.
Oh,
Yeah, and I was like, when the
Leonard
train
Skinner did die
crashed,
in a
and I
plane.
was listening to it just cringing, oh my God, I know it's not a train crash, but I keep saying it like an idiot. And the other person doesn't notice because you're just kind of on, I call it podcast brain.
I just don't listen.
You're just conversing and you're yes-anding each other. So you're like, yeah, and it's all good. It's just the way it is.
That's one of the toughest things about podcasts, though, is to actively listen. So you're not just adding some random thought at the end of it where it was really only you who had that context because you were just concocting something random in your brain and you just blurted out.
Or it could be really funny if you did that.
Yeah, it depends.
But I feel like that you tend to just, like I said, yes and each other. I've heard other podcasts where it's 2 people and somebody says something really wrong and they just go with it, and then 5 minutes later they're like, wait, did you just say that thing? And they're like, oh.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's fun.
We're just trying to support each other.
We're just live auditing each other the whole time.
Exactly.
I'm giving everyone weird stares across the table as...
Yeah.
And you don't want to correct
talk.
someone and be wrong and just, be an asshole.
I've definitely done that a lot in the podcast. So, corrected you but was wrong and then Googled it later and I was like, oh, damn it.
I can't think of any of those, so
I'll just edit it
I'll give
out
you a
later.
pass on that.
Yeah, you have the ultimate control. You make yourself look like roses.
Yeah, I could definitely do that, but it's pretty hard to make myself look like roses anyway. So the reason why we're all here together is I think you guys should probably talk about it because it was, your circumstance that led to you being in the same room with us now.
Yes.
We'll kick it
And
off.
a little bit of ours, but for the long and short of it, on our side, me and Alante and I were living together, and we've lived together for almost a year now?
Just about a year.
A year in July,
your birthday.
I think.
Yeah, here in Concord. And we had an extra roommate. It's me, my girlfriend Amber, Alante, and then we had another roommate named Ashley. And she, a lot of people fell across some hard times. Her Prius, what got stolen out of her Prius?
The catalytic converter, man. They stole the platinum out of it, which is a big tweaker thing. You can get some money for that. It's like stealing copper.
Yeah, so
no.
she got tweaker robbed, and then after that, she was just like, fuck this, I'm moving. And she packed up. She gave us plenty of notice. Really, really great roommate. Gave us plenty of notice, and
we love Ashley.
We were the second after that happened, we called you guys and we're like, so you're not trying to move, are you?
We were like, actually.
I'll never forget. Yeah, we were out in our backyard. We lived in this funky Oakland spot in Montclair that was basically like a little 2-story house built into the hill, and our landlord had passed away 2 months into us moving in. So we were kind of dealing with new landlords for the past 9 months, and yeah, we were our lease was up. Our lease was basically up. So when you called us, it was kind of this weird serendipity of our lease is coming up. You guys have an empty room. We'd like to get back to Concord. This whole kind of, it kind of, I remember when you called me, Tom was playing disc golf. We were in this weird, it's our landlord's old backyard, which is a little tiered structure.
In the hill.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. It's surrounded by eucalyptus, and I was just kind of chilling, and then Stuart called. And I remember you saying that, and I was just like, wow, what a perfect situation. Like, I hung up with you, and I was like, Tom, isn't this kind of like everything's working out and falling into place? And it was the most that things felt like they were like actually like problems were being solved and things were falling into place like since the pandemic hit, because everything was like so uncertain and crazy. And then this happened, and I was like, oh, this actually feels like really good.
Well, it's kind of an
and
opportunity
like really,
to all kind of shelter together and to be in the same place, so we're not having to do the distance recordings that we were doing with the shelter sessions.
Not that they weren't really fun to do.
No, it was a fun challenge, but I think that, you know, being in the same place and being able to talk to each other every day. I mean, there's times that we were in the middle of the shelter sessions or doing some kind of video thing, and I had to send Alante a video. And remember the time that with the Concord Live, I had to come and physically drive and pick up the. I had to pick up audio, and it was like faster for me to drive and pick up the audio than to send it through email.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you think about it now, we could just turn around and just hand you a thumb drive, and it's just like, boom, it's there. And it's so, it's just a lot easier to be in the same place. It's just going to be a little incubator, I think.
It's funny that you say that, because it's like when I'm actually in a work environment, or when I was like working in an office, I used to think I mean, I still kind of think that we don't need to be in an office together, but
we don't.
From our perspective, it definitely helps that we're all in the same location together. But I mean, music, I feel like, is one of the most collaborative forms of interaction that you have with your quote coworkers. You know?
I mean, but at the end of the day, we're going to be playing together in the same place. It's different than an office job that like you guys all have to work literally in harmony. We have to be in the same. I don't know.
Sometimes
I've just worked different jobs that I think than you guys have. And
can I say I had a really good chat with my friend Carrie the other day, and she's been following us forever. We've been friends for like 15 years, and she always gives me a great big picture. And she said, "Isn't it amazing that 8 years ago, you and Stuart were doing Radiokeys long distance from and you guys were trying to write music between like Santa Barbara and like the Bay Area. And then like you guys got closer and closer and closer. And now all four of you live in the same house." And I was like, I never thought of it that way. But it's kind of like a cool story.
We are inevitable.
Yeah. There was a point where we were like, spread out still. And yeah, we've all kind of found this. It's kind of amazing. It's a cool story.
So you guys, when did you actually move in? Like a week ago? It feels like you've been here forever
9 days
already.
ago.
I
Last Monday we moved in on Memorial Day.
I backlogged my Facebook official move to Concord to the 25th of May. It was the date that I felt like that was the day I think that you and Alante came and we did the big move with all the stuff, and that was like the first night that we had here. So we had moved boxes before. And we had this like long transitions of about 2.5 weeks before we actually moved. And that 25th is somewhere towards the end, but it's kind of in the middle of the whole.
And that's the night we moved the cats. So that's the big.
They've been here for about a week. Moved. Yeah, the cat. That's when you really count it. Is when the cats come
Cats.
The Clouder.
The Clouder seems peaceful and good. I'm feeling like there's some friendships happening. There's some alliances going on. There's some crushes happening between the four of them.
There's definitely a weird crush happening.
There's a weird crush.
Year-old Presley and unknown age, close to 11 or 12, Oscar. Presley is like obsessed with him.
Oh yeah, she comes into our room at night like looking for him. I'm like, oh.
She thinks he's her dad, I think.
There's all kinds of
depends
Freudian.
on what you
what kind of dad
we're talking about here. Let's not forget. Presley's petite.
I know, she's tiny.
And
she's probably
Oscar's
a third of the size.
Thick.
He's a big cat.
We call him Thick Daddy.
He's
Oscar.
what, like 15 pounds, 16 pounds?
It's just generous. That's like me being like, oh, I'm 195 right now. Just cruising around in my fighting weight.
How much would you guess? You're good at guessing weights. How much would you guess Oscar weighs as a cat?
45 pounds.
No.
He's like
that's a small
4-year-old,
child.
yeah.
Just in case there's anybody like me listening, can one of you guys explain what a clouder is?
Yeah. Oh, right. We should. Yeah. So when we first brought up the idea of merging the two cat households, Amber, Stuart, and Alante had 2 cats. Me and Tom had 2 cats.
Amber and Stuart.
I mean, those are kind of your
Stuart
cats
had
too,
2 cats.
though.
Old Perd and Presley, and they're the young guns. They're like a year old and about
They're babies.
9 or 10 months.
And we have a 5-year-old cat named Django, and then a 10 between the ages of 9 and 11-year-old cat named Oscar.
Like a Cuban baseball player.
And his name is Oscar.
And
Miguel
so we were going to
Tejada.
merge the household. So I Googled, what do you call a group of cats? Because, like a murder of crows and like a
Gaggle.
Flock of sheep.
flock of
geese,
a
right?
gaggle of geese.
A pride of lions.
A
Yeah.
pride of lion.
So
Pride
we were
of
calling
lions
them
my
pride
favorite.
for a minute. We thought like
Is it a conspiracy of owls?
That sounds
there's
really
one that's a
good. That one's
conspiracy. That's really cool.
I like that
That's
one.
probably wrong, but
Conspiracy. No owls hang out together. It must be a conspiracy.
conspiracy of
Well, they don't hang out
owls.
together. They're like.
But so I looked
solitary
at what do you
animals.
call a group of cats, and they said a clouder. So you call a group of cats a clouder. But if they're not sure of each other yet, they're called a glaring of cats. So they started off as a glaring, and they're slowly becoming a clouder.
I think they're getting there. They're getting to
They're getting
the
there.
clouder
They're
stage.
ignoring each other at this stage. They're not quite playing it. They're just ignoring it, but they're not fighting. So it's a good. It's a good
Django
sign.
just wants a friend.
He just wants a friend.
It's so sad to watch.
It's really sad to watch.
It's like the kid in elementary school with the weird shoes that no one would talk to. Yeah.
It's like, do you want
With the weird shoes.
Do you want my
Wears
milk?
the same shirt
Like,
every
I
single
don't.
day.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's nothing wrong with him,
That's
but you're just
little
not going to invite him to
Django.
your group.
He's
Yeah.
a sweetheart.
Inclusion, guys.
I'm not seeing anything about Conspiracy of Owls other than
Maybe it's a different type of animal.
it's a band. Well, get this, a band that is associated with your favorite band, The Go, and the White
No
Stripes.
way.
Yeah.
See,
Go?
that's why
Members
my
Bobby Harlow and some other dudes.
see that's why
Conspiracy
my
of
brain
Owls?
did that.
Yeah, Conspiracy of Owls.
That's totally
That's
what your
why my
brain
brain
did.
did
Yeah.
that.
Emily is so drunk.
Because I love the Go and I love the White Stripes. Yeah, so now I'm just making up facts. I'm like, that's what they call a group of owls, is a conspiracy. Because of the band
it
name.
sounded good.
Dude,
We all
it sounded
bought it.
really legit.
I was like on your side. I was like, yeah, I think I've heard that before.
That's
Yeah.
really cool.
we should name a band. Oh shit, there's already a band named that.
We're about to change our name.
There's
Yes.
already a band named that.
So you guys are all settled in now, and
Yes, we've settled in. I love this house. It's beautiful. It's a great house. I love being in Concord. We just took a walk and had a socially distanced backyard hang and wave with Nancy and Vince,
Yes.
who live 8 minutes away. Just had a
Vince's
little wave. And
podcast alumni.
yeah, Vince
twice.
Lay.
yeah,
He was
and
on it once. Joey was also on it
Joe
once.
was on. Okay.
What
Yeah.
color is
Yeah.
their house and what's their address?
it's
blue?
blue. It's gorgeous. It's like blue and the
Don't
bottom's
answer
brick.
this.
I love it.
2,
The address I will not say.
8.
But the color I feel comfortable saying
8.
it's a blue house in
yeah.
Concord.
I've been
Go
over
find
there. They're
it.
very welcoming to the old Radiokeys, man.
Yeah.
They always treat me good over there.
I was
They're good guys.
Yeah.
we
They're
were
good
walking
people.
over and I was like, Tom, we haven't been able to walk to a friend. I haven't been able to walk to a friend's house since I was like a teenager.
Yeah.
If I could even when I was a teenager. It's like it's so like it feels very I don't know. I feel like part of the neighborhood. I didn't feel that way in St. Helena so much or Oakland. It's like we didn't know people in our neighborhood, so this is kind of like I don't know.
I'm definitely looking forward to when
Feels
we can
community,
actually
yeah.
go hang out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like-
yeah,
like
absolutely.
open up our house to them and have a
Have
good
a
old
big barbecue or
yeah,
something.
big barbecue
Oh,
with
absolutely.
music.
Somebody,
and-
man.
Yeah, that'll be
Oh,
really
we
nice.
got a visitor.
If you could
Django's just popping up to say hi.
He's looking for a friend again,
Yeah,
and
there he
we're
goes.
kicking him out.
And there he goes.
Later,
Story
bro.
of his life.
Yeah.
story of his life.
But also really desperate sometimes.
Looking for
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay.
But I think one of the main things that's happened more recently when you guys moved in is we decided to put a kibosh on the shelter sessions because it didn't seem as authentic anymore.
Well, we decided to finish it.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
thought it was the perfect ending, though. Like,
Yeah.
how awesome is that we started this, like, this is going down and we're going to be separated from each other and we don't know how long it's going to be. So we're going to do this recording thing. And then, like, to end it with, we're all moving in together. So we're not going to be distance anymore. We're going to be as close as we possibly can.
Yeah, the whole project revolved around the distance and how we had to, shoot these recordings back and forth digitally. And then now that we're not doing that, it just doesn't seem like it fits in the same, the same niche as that was. So we decided that we're going to put it on Spotify and Apple Music and all that, but we're gonna probably do that in the next month or so.
Yeah.
So,
But where's it at right now?
Right now, it's on Bandcamp. So
there we go.
Well, I was talking to Dana Pontius, this dude that we did an interview with, and he had no clue what Bandcamp was, and he had no clue what a lot of things were, but mostly Bandcamp. My mom didn't know about Bandcamp. Aunt didn't know about Bandcamp.
I didn't until I was in a band trying to put out music. And I saw that
it's
was
not.
Kind of a standard.
It's not as big as Spotify or YouTube or like those other ways that people get music.
Yeah,
non-music people get music. Like non-music people don't.
It's
know
not
about Bandcamp,
Apple and
I
it's
feel
not
like.
Google. That's all people really know for music. I mean, in Spotify.
Yeah.
And like
Pandora.
Yeah,
Pandora's
Pandora.
dying.
Oh please, yeah. Pandora's still around.
It's such a good thought.
It's too shallow of an idea.
It's way
It's
too
like,
shallow of a.
because Spotify was like, oh, you're making playlists, cool, and then now they're doing that too, and you can also listen to whatever you want to at any time.
That's what kills Pandora, man.
Yeah, it's like,
it's
you want to
superior.
discover music, you can do that. If you want to listen to whatever you want to listen to, you can do that. Pandora, it's like you listen to a song, and you're like, damn, I really love that one. I guess I'll just wait for it to come around again.
Yeah.
And Spotify is just visually better to look at.
It is visually
Oh,
better.
When you open the app, it's just more friendly. It's like, I like this.
It looks like
Totally
your
agree.
own personal iTunes, but you get to search it. Yeah, Pandora's confusing. I haven't used it in 10
But
years.
Bandcamp though.
But yeah, Bandcamp.
I'm gonna let you finish,
Yeah.
but Bandcamp.
No, I don't need to finish. That was it. I'm trying not to throw shade at anything, so I'll stop. But
Well, what is Pandora going to do? Not play us? On their
play the same playlist over and over again and over and over again and over and over again. See, now I'm throwing shade at Pandora.
Radiokeys.bandcamp.com.
Yeah, something like that.
That sounds right.
I think that's it. It's either that or
Bandcamp.com/radiokeys.
No, it's definitely not.
No, I think it's radiokeys.
It's
bandcamp.com.
radiokeys.bandcamp.com.
All right. We should probably verify this, but either way, if you look up Radio Keys and Bandcamp together in any search, you'll find it, and that's where you can find the Shelter Sessions, and it's 5 cover songs that we kind of turned into our own, and I think it's funny. I had a lot of fun doing it, but I think after performing this, I'd rather just kind of focus on original music again, because that was like a huge void that I was missing these past 3 weeks, is like writing original music.
Yeah, it's recording those cover songs and just sending each other tracks and like figuring out our parts based on the originals and kind of being creative is one thing, but taking our original songs and trying to do that remotely, it's like we couldn't serve the song,
No, and it would be like
we have to be in the same room.
Yeah, it'd be so tough. And then if I don't know, like the collaboration on original songs is like much different to me than collaboration on a cover song.
It's too sacred. Like that, like the original writing process is too sacred to be like, Tom and I are gonna write our parts and then we'll send them out. Like it just doesn't make any sense.
Worked for the Postal Service.
Yeah, I loved the Postal Service.
Is that why the band's name was the Postal Service?
So.
Yeah,
I believe so.
I think Ben Gibbard used to ship, like the other guy would ship him tracks and then he'd ship him lyrics. Stuart and I have done that.
That's cool.
Like
That's
basically,
great,
here's a guitar part.
great
Okay,
band.
I'll listen to some on headphones and
I
write
got to be able to
lyrics,
look at Tom.
But that's the thing is it's not a full band. It doesn't work. For
It works
four of us.
if you have the songs written already. I couldn't imagine writing the songs over distance. Like
No way.
Like if we had the songs written already and we had already done our thing and wrote the parts, like yeah, absolutely,
it'd be half-assing.
Yeah,
I feel like.
we don't have like songs that we've written completely that we haven't recorded. We're still working on like we're close on a bunch of songs, but I'm not comfortable doing that with any of our originals that we have right now.
Yeah. Could you imagine like you write and record an entire line, and then that's the first time I hear it. I'm like, yeah I don't think that's going to work with the vocal part I'm about to record. Like,
yeah.
It's just so,
too much back and forth.
So
it's
much.
like an exhausting amount of like, because you want to be in the same room to have that trial and error. The trial and error shouldn't be like, here's an email, here's an email, here's an email. Like that's exhausting, and then it kills your creativity because you're just like, well, fuck it. Like for lack of a better word, it's like, okay, I've tried 3 times and it doesn't work. But in a room, it's like you can actually collaborate on something.
So yeah, I think we're gonna hopefully start writing some original music, but we got to get our little rehearsal space set up, and it's been like 100 degrees here in Concord in the past week. It feels like between 90 and 100.
Today was 100 for sure.
Was it really?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was 102 when I got home at noon.
Yeah,
the air conditioner was working.
The air
right?
conditioner was working for me. I didn't even leave the house.
Didn't even know it was
slays.
102.
Slays, queen.
Yeah, it was 78.
I'll pay whatever necessary to not live in misery.
Concord's pretty
Kind of how I feel.
freaking hot.
Yeah, it gets really hot.
But I think I think uploading the shelter sessions to streaming services, I think that's gonna be awesome though. I think that we kind of wanted to keep our Spotify a little more clean than it was. Like we had some remnants from like some solo project I did in college that was just lingering on there. And some people like that song. Like that song has like almost 10,000 hits on it.
Which one?
Humble brag.
Yeah, no big deal. No, what's it called again? Where You Belong?
Where you belong.
But the problem is with the algorithm, then anytime people listen to one song of ours, then it immediately goes to all our songs with the most plays, which are the ones that have been there for
which are like 12 years old,
7 or 8 or 9 or 10 years.
How old
whatever.
are those recordings, do you think?
I recorded Where You Belong in 2010.
So a
it's 10
decade.
years old.
And Santa Bring My Baby Back to Me.
All at the same time.
Yeah.
And then
10
two,
years.
and then it's also 2 covers. So it's 1 original, which is cool. Like, but then it's 2 cover songs. So like my I've told you this, but my boss like looked us up on Spotify and like listened to like Hey Charles, and then was like, oh, I like the Santa song, and I was like, the Santa song, and then I was like, oh, it's the Elvis cover that you did, which is a great cover.
I like it,
but like
it's
it's like, oh, if you want someone to listen to our
keep it
band,
clean,
it's like
yeah.
you don't, So
I don't want them to listen to us 8 years ago when we were a completely different entity. Than
Wait,
we are now.
you say you wrote that stuff in 2010?
Something like that, yeah.
He recorded it in 2010.
Yeah, you remember we were going through your old music files, dude,
Oh, no.
and we found that banger that you recorded
Which
in
one?
2010,
Summer at
dude.
midnight.
No, not that one.
No,
not that
okay.
It's the old White Rhino version
The White Rhino version.
of Shine.
one. Yeah, Let It Shine.
And it's amazing.
It's all MIDI.
It's in a video that's going to be coming to you guys pretty soon.
I feel like we
I
should
think
release
you're gonna
that.
enjoy it.
I think Alonte's
And,
right.
Oh, that
Trust
video.
me. Think like Super Mario meets
Radiokeys.
It's
Radiokeys.
8-bit radio keys.
Super Mario.
It's like I was listening to it. I almost took my shirt off. Like being honest, like I don't know how to react to it.
I remember that recording.
Good thing it wasn't
so
16-bit.
well.
Yeah.
Oh no. There's some gems from the early days for sure. Cringy gems, but gems nonetheless.
It's just our recording.
We were learning
how to do
I
everything.
thought you were great
and our
at it.
gear was like super cheap, so everything has that shitty stock Pro Tools like footprint.
I thought
Fingerprint
some
is
of
what I
them
was looking
sounded
for,
okay.
Fingerprint on it, and it's just they sound okay, but
It
the
sounds like a
stuff
home
we're working on
recording.
now, it just sounds so much better, especially the record we did with Nate at Prairie
Yeah.
Sun. Like
Yeah.
Oh,
that
it's
one is just so
leaps and bounds.
Yeah, exactly. So we had to get rid of that shit is my main thing. But we're gonna finally add the shelter sessions to it, which is something I really want to do. My goal going into I would like to listen to our goals for 2020 because that's probably really funny right now.
Oh,
It's
we're
like,
we're
play
gonna play
120 shows.
It literally was like that.
Not
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
play 120 shows
Find
because
new venues.
Yeah.
Hug people. Shake hands.
I think the main thing that we accomplished was not playing the Milk Bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not sugarcoating it anymore,
Yeah.
right?
Just shut it down.
It's Milk Bar. It's not Silk Tar. We hate it.
Yeah.
We've been trying to sugarcoat that for a minute.
So we're
but
not playing. We haven't played that yet in 2020. So that's a win.
I'll say like the venues that treated us well in the normal world are the same venues that have been reaching out to us and treating us well in the quarantine world.
Yeah, the jam
Sellers. They're like, hey, we want to like pay you to do like a virtual performance and like give you all this clout and like put you on our Facebook with like all these followers. Like, and I don't know. It's I feel like those venues treated us well, and
yeah, they've
the
gone out of
regular
their
world
way to
and-
support us.
Exactly. And those are the venues that care about musicians from day one, not the ones that are like, we're trying to support. I don't know. It's so, yeah.
I mean, we've talked about it so many times on the podcast. Just like venues who have the wrong formula. It's just like their idea is if we get a band, it doesn't matter their quality. If they bring a ton of people, that's great for our bar. And it's like, no, what's great for your bar is developing a reputation for bringing in quality acts, so people just come to your bar to watch
because it's good music.
Plays because they know it's going to be good.
But that takes way more work than being like, hey, how many people can you bring to my venue? Okay, I don't need to hear your demo tape. You're in.
I don't care what you sound
no one
like.
ever brings the amount of people they say they're going to bring, right?
I thought you were going to say a demo tape. Because I'm 30.
Because Tom's 40.
30.
Don't say tape though.
Yeah, right.
Aging yourself.
Sorry.
Aww.
Tom just recently turned. Have we done a podcast since you turned?
No,
36?
we have not. 36.
Tommy had a birthday.
I don't need another birthday. Awkward birthday song.
We learned that as a band, we're not very good at happy birthday.
We're good at other songs, though.
Yeah.
And these are the songs we're going to play.
We always get put on the spot to do happy birthday. We're like, nah.
Yeah.
I start singing for some reason. Like, I'm going to learn how to sing out of nowhere, dude. I was like, just play the drum, dude. Don't sing.
I keep thinking I know where to start, and I either start really low or really high. It's just a weird-ass song. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like I've been non-singing it for like 25 years, and now I'm trying to like actually sing it, and it just does. My brain's just like, no,
Steve
you're just supposed to scream it. You're just supposed to yell it.
I've heard you teach it to a couple of kids in the old studio.
What people get confused is that it's in 3, and then it goes G, D, D, G instead of like the typical. Anyway, no one cares about that shit. But
no, I was Googling how to play it the other day because I was worried I'd be put on the spot.
It's
for it.
D. Never mind. 1551.
See, now I'm putting you on the spot. Yeah, it's
151.
Yeah. Everyone should know it. Everyone should know how to play it.
The nastiest version of like Happy Birthday.
Oh, we just slay Happy Birthday
all the time.
Yeah,
like the Beatles did.
Today's your birthday.
No,
they just
like
the
Beatles.
song.
Like, we're at Lagunitas. We're like, is that a birthday over there, dude? We've been waiting for this.
How many birthdays we got out there?
You baby, yeah, we got you.
Like it's not. It's in the month.
We'll plant somebody in the audience.
Just get a plant. Who wants to hear the Time Warp?
I would like to hear
It'll
the
be
Time
James or Amber every time.
Every time they'll be like, these people are just alone. Why are they just?
Timmy G does "In the Club" by 50 Cent.
No,
because it starts off with "It's your birthday." and that's why he thinks that's like the birthday song to do.
But then it says he doesn't give a fuck that it's his birthday.
But it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny because like we play it like 2 or 3 times a night at sometimes because people don't realize that we've already played it.
That's
and
a good.
Like,
that's
we don't
a good
give
bit.
a fuck that it's your birthday because we've played it 3 times already. But anyway, that's it. It's a good one.
So, but going back to like the Jam Cellars thing.
Yeah.
We started in the world of live streaming.
Yeah.
Like everyone else is right now. And we really sucked at it to start. And then I think we've gradually gotten better as time goes on.
Everyone's learning at the same time, I feel like. You know? Everyone's trying to do the same thing at the same time and kind of pulling their skill sets. And everyone's kind of alone.
Yeah.
You know, like we're FaceTiming or Zooming this sound guy, and he's just kind of like, oh, try this. But it's very much like what we have versus what... Yeah.
Yeah, I have a round table question here. We'll go around the circle.
Oh, no.
What do you find as the biggest mistake people are making with their streaming? The biggest mistake, the thing that either annoys you or you're like, oh man, they really should have.
I have one.
Figured it out.
I'll kick it off.
All right.
Not announcing it and just going live at a random time.
Are you talking about me and Stuart right now?
And like so-and-so's going live, and I'm like, dude, you gotta like prepare like I feel like you'll get so much more if you're just like, hey, in an hour, even if you're like in an hour I'm going live, or like on Sunday night I'm going live, but people are just like, fuck it, we're going live, and just like go live, and it's like Tuesday at 4 and you're like, whoa, like I guess I'll just drop what I'm doing and try to support you, but like maybe a little heads up, like that's my biggest pet peeve.
In the podcast where Alante and I got
can you please tell that story? Can you please tell that story?
Yeah, I'll let Alante.
Oh no. So I don't even remember what we were doing that day.
We just recorded. We recorded
that was the
I think we
Withers day.
I think we did. I don't think it was Withers. I think we recorded like the shelter sessions. And then we were packing up, and then we were feeling pretty good about it.
Yeah, exactly.
So we started
So we were already on that little music high, you know. And
Oh yeah.
Stu brings out the Soleil or however you say it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, he's pouring a whiskey soda. I'll get one.
Yeah.
I'll get 2.
What?
3.
What?
And then about 4 in, we decide to go in the old garage or in the office and just start jamming.
With the drum and the guitar.
Drum. And poor Amber comes in and she's just like, guys. Right?
Thank God she
swear to
came
God,
in.
not
Who
just-
knew it could have
Not just
happened?
for this story. When she opened the door, I looked down at this bottle of Jim Beam that was full in the beginning of the day and that had maybe 3 drinks in it. And I was like, oh, you know,
Like, it's time to
we should probably,
Yep,
we should
you're
probably
right.
wrap it up. Yep, you're right.
You're right.
And by,
And
and
we
by
shouldn't
wrap
be
it
doing
up,
this.
he means take all our shit and go to the garage and do it again.
But this time we went live,
Let's
baby.
go live.
And for some reason, we were somewhat coherent enough to know not to do it from the Radiokeys account.
Yeah.
So we were on my account, my personal account. And luckily, you know, I'm not an Instagrammer, so I have like 200, you know, people, followers, I guess they're called. And
Alonte's going live at 11:30
the only person
p.m. on a
that was on there
Tuesday.
was my-
one.
it was like 1 in the morning. The only 3 people that showed up were like one of my cousins, my auntie Ren,
Oh
and
no.
Weaver.
and Weaver. And Weaver was
Shout
requesting
out to
songs for
Weaver.
like 25 minutes, dude. He's like,
He was only requesting songs that you sing. I was like, dude, I don't know. And then my drunk ass was like trying to sing.
Oh,
like,
my favorite
Hey,
is when you
child.
sing Emily songs. My favorite is when you're like, sweet soul
It was a
music.
I like
disaster.
the scratch tracks from the albums when
dude,
Emily's singing the Stewart
we
song.
started
Dude, we need to
and
do a
restarted,
reverse album.
what's the country song that we love?
Oh, Friends in Low
Friends
Places.
in Low Places. We started and restarted Friends in Low Places like 6 times. It's like the guy at the campfire with the acoustic guitar that's like, wait a minute.
I know one
Wait,
song.
I'm doing Wonderwall, but I need to figure out how to do it right.
We,
We're like, I got friends.
And
I got friends.
play it.
You're singing here. You should be singing here.
It was so rough. And then
Just like
finally, Amber came and put us to bed.
Thank God for Amber.
And we woke up the next day and just looked at each other and was like, what were we doing, dude?
Didn't want to look at each other.
I was scared to come out of my room. I was like, someone's going to see me and I'm going to have to explain myself.
Yeah, we were definitely in trouble.
You only had 3.
So announce when
viewers.
you're going live and don't do it at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, that's
tomorrow.
my biggest pet peeve is when
After
people
drinking.
just
You know what
surprise everyone.
Is
What's
at least
yours?
on Instagram. Sorry, about that. Not
Right.
not in general, the broader topic. But when you're like scrolling Instagram and someone goes live and it says they're going live and it has a drop down tab
Like
and
a
you can
notification.
click
Press it.
and then you're the only dude in there.
So
and you're
you
like,
can't
oh,
leave?
Jesus.
Oh, I've been
I'm gonna wait for a couple
been
people to
that.
come into the weight room.
and then I'll leave.
Oh, it's so funny.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I'll tell mine.
that's a good one though. That's a good
Yeah?
one.
I have one pretty ready.
Okay.
It's people going live portrait instead of landscape. It drives me nuts.
Oh.
It's like I'm on my phone and I want to watch it. Or I'm on my computer, which is a widescreen. Everyone has a widescreen TV. Everything has a
I
widescreen.
feel like that's an
they
Instagram
go
versus
portrait.
Facebook issue.
You can just turn your Instagram sideways.
But you could turn it sideways.
'Cause on Instagram,
It's-
I feel like
it's
everybody's
such a
vertical.
huge, you
Yeah,
get
but you
so
can
much
still just turn it
more of a
sideways.
viewable area and or a bigger version of you, and it increases the production value so much by just turning the camera sideways. And so that's my in couch concerts. It was like one of the first things that we had asked people to do was like just make sure it's landscape because it'll be uniform with all the rest. And people have been really good about that. But
Nice.
that's one thing.
Yeah, that's annoying for sure.
yeah, for
Mine is
sure.
kind of close to that. Mine is like since quarantine, we've gotten maybe a few thousand extra left-handed guitar players.
Oh,
Like I don't know, I didn't know there were so many left-handed guitar players out there.
Yeah, dude,
It's
they're
an
learning.
it's a pandemic.
And
We're
it's
all
crazy.
left-handed now.
And it's just like,
It's wild.
how do
I
you
totally agree with you.
how do you watch back your performance and notice that you're
Flipped.
freaking flip, and then that doesn't bother you?
You're
I'm
mirrored.
not
It's
trying to call anybody out here. I guess I
you
am.
know who
I guess
you
I am.
are. You know
But
who you
come on,
are.
guys, a little
Silk
quality control here.
Tar, we're
If
calling
you're
it
not
again.
left-handed, just maybe.
Yeah, everyone thinks they're Jimi Hendrix all of a
Yeah.
sudden, dude. It's like,
Oh,
but
no.
you know
So what-
it's a problem because the clock's backwards or the painting's backwards.
Or
So-
the words on their shirt are backwards.
Yeah.
instead of Cal, your shirt says lack.
It's like backwards lack.
yeah, it's backwards lack. No, it's not even lack. It's still
looks like-
backwards.
But
It would look
so
like it'd say
what do you mean?
LOL.
What do you mean by guitars players playing left-handed? You're talking about the portrait.
I'm talking
No,
about
it's
He means
flipped.
they're right-handed,
but
but the
just
video
it's a
say
mirror.
what it is.
It's
It's the
mirrored.
mirror
It's
on
the
the
mirror
portrait.
mirrored.
on the yeah, exactly.
It's more for the listener. I'm thinking
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you're speaking like.
But they're not flipping
we're all familiar.
their
They're not flipping the portrait
cameras.
camera. To
I got
be
annoyed with that
regular
with one of the
camera.
couch concerts because
Yeah.
someone's
Don't
clock was
record
like
yourself on
backwards, and I was
selfie.
like, ooh. It just made me uncomfortable.
So other than the various like sound quality issues that are inevitable,
Oh, here we go. Should we talk about our drinking game?
no, we can do that later. But my one of my biggest pet peeves in this whole thing is the vicious eye contact people
Oh,
are
yeah.
making with the camera while they're playing.
dude.
It's so
calling me out?
Alante is so guilty.
This is our podcast, bro. You're gonna
calling Alante out.
Well,
Yeah,
that
it
was
is.
when it first came to light. We noticed it. We're like, okay. And then, like, there's been many videos we've seen after
in
that.
defense of Alante,
There's
in
no-
defense
there's
of
no
Alante,
defending
no,
that video.
in defense of Alante, when we did the couch concerts where it was the four of us,
Yeah.
if Alante was making intense eye contact, it was okay because there
there's
were
four of us.
panels. So it was like, okay, sometimes I'm making eye contact, sometimes Stuart is, sometimes Tom is. Alante is like 85% of the time. But like it was more mixed up so you could like look at other. So like that's one thing.
Yeah.
But a one person video where they're just staring at the
It's
camera,
so-
that's
oh.
different.
I realized I did it too because I did that.
Okay,
like
I got you.
I did that. I did that like black tide benefit thing.
Right.
And I watched it back, and I was like, "Oh, I'm just staring at the camera. This is really creepy." And then, like,
well, you're trying to engage because it's weird to engage on like
tough. It's
Zoom.
just
It's
the
like how do
entire
I
audience
engage?
is right there. Like, why wouldn't you look right there at the audience?
and
like,
now we know why.
and it's just creepy as hell because
Yeah.
it's like it's not natural for like if you're in a crowd and you're just looking at one thing instead of like
Yeah, because you're
looking
moving
at the
around.
crowd.
You're looking at, like, when was the last time, even when you have like a conversation with someone where they're just staring you dead in the eye, especially when they're singing you a song, it looks
Yeah.
like they're trying to like drug you and like take advantage of you
Yeah.
and like.
Especially when they're singing a song. No,
Yeah, no, I agree. It's
How many
it's,
times-
it's too much.
How
It's
many times
overwhelming.
has there been like a scene in a comedy where like the cringy like ex-boyfriend is like playing the song for the chick and
Just, like,
he's just
heavy
staring
eye
at her and
contact?
she's
Yeah.
so uncomfortable? That's what's happening on live streams all the time.
Okay, so now that you called out everybody playing live streams, now that we all have called out everyone,
No friends
Well, now
left.
that's the drinking game now.
It's-
So when you're at home watching a live stream, you drink for
Candles.
Oh, sorry. Let's talk about our,
So
our
wait,
drinking
before
game.
that, what was yours, Em? You don't like when people just randomly go live, that's a drink. When you're what is it called? Vertical instead
Portrait
of landscape.
Instead of landscape.
That's a drink. When you what was yours again?
When the guitar player's left-handed,
when
but
the-
you know he's right-handed.
when you
And the
when they
clocks
have
are
the mirror mode
backwards and
on.
his shirt
yeah,
is
when the mirror
backwards
mode is on, and when they're just staring at you dead in the eye.
Right.
but the additional drinking game was candles in the background,
fedoras.
So
fedoras,
yeah.
and
Guitars
guitars hanging,
Guitars
in the background.
hanging.
or musical instruments.
Nancy came up with a good one today. She said sunglasses when they're wearing sunglasses.
That's extra.
which is kind of a thing.
Yeah.
No, I think Stu made me take them off.
Definitely a thing.
Dude, it's like we're not ZZ Top, you know?
It's nighttime. It's nighttime everywhere,
Not
and
the Blues Brothers.
you're inside. Yeah, I've always sort of had a
Joaquin Phoenix
issue with
and, what was that?
sunglasses.
Where he's a rapper.
Oh,
Walking-
I'm still here.
I'm still here.
Oh, I thought you were talking
Walking-
about Walk the Line. We watched Walk the Line last night, and I was like, that.
Dude, I'm still here. It's
I was
an
like-
incredible mockumentary. You got to watch it if you've never watched it.
I've never
I've
seen it.
never watched
And then
it.
as soon
yeah.
as you're done watching that, go on over to bandcamp.com
Yes.
/ Radiokeys or radiokeys.bandcamp.com.
Whatever it is, go there.
Just here for the plugs, baby.
Go there now.
Man.
We'll
Yeah.
wait.
No, we're not gonna wait.
Dead air. It's just dead air for like 5 minutes. Like, just stream all the songs. Just go for it.
Yeah. So what have you guys been doing to keep up. Oh my god! And we
Sorry.
just slaughtered a
So-
bug right in front of all of us.
And she was into
I
it too.
apologize.
Wiped its blood all over Tom's.
It was a
book.
mosquito in the house.
Oh
I had
my
to.
God.
Oh,
I had
that's
to,
nice. I'm glad you killed a mosquito.
Yeah,
Thank you.
just doing my part. Because the cats won't. They just watch the bugs go by.
Another roundtable question.
Yep.
What are some of the things that you guys have been doing to keep yourself occupied, other than music in these crazy times?
Well, we moved, so that took a lot of energy. I've also been rereading all the Bukowski novels. Our song "Hey Hey Charles" was inspired by good old Chuck. So I've been rereading
Charles
all his
Bukowski.
books. Yeah, and he's comforting. I feel like I'm being more comforted by like rereading stuff and rewatching stuff as opposed to new stuff. And then we've had some. We're trying to have some roommate movie nights. We watched Walk the Line the other night. We're gonna watch Ray probably
That was a
tonight.
big escape for sure.
I want to watch That Thing You Do, which is a good.
I
like,
heard you listening to that or watching it the other night.
I started watching it and then I fell asleep like 45 minutes in. So I feel like we should watch it. But it's really a solid, and it's written and directed by Tom Hanks.
He wrote that song?
He wrote.
No, you ever wrote that
No.
song?
Who wrote that song?
Fountains of Wayne wrote and performed
dude,
that
that
song.
makes
R.I.P.
sense.
And they do
R.I.P. Just
Stacey's
passed from
mom
Corona.
has got it going on.
Yeah,
So, but yeah, that movie is
Was he in New
incredible.
York? Do you know where he was?
I don't know where he
I don't know where he
was.
was.
Yeah.
I heard that
He was like 52
people
or
are
something.
thinking that New York strain is more intense than the West
Ooh,
Coast
I don't know
strain.
that.
Came straight from Europe, man.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true. Spreading fake news on this
No
podcast.
idea.
Anyway,
Fake
let's-
news. Don't
no
listen
one
to
wants
the
to hear
COVID
about
news.
it.
We're moving on.
But yeah, anyway,
Yeah.
I've been watching musical movies are inspiring. Just watching movies are inspiring because it's like, oh, look at all these people in the same room. How exciting. Just
It's
like-
definitely weird watching movies and like seeing people like next to each other, and you're like, it's kind of refreshing to see.
I was impressed with Walk the Line because Reese Witherspoon and Joaquin Phoenix are both singing. And like, I feel like as musicians, you guys are probably aware of this. Like when you watch movies where people are like supposed to be playing guitar and supposed to be singing, supposed to be playing drums, like it's really annoying when they're faking it and it's like bad. And you're just like just take
Totally.
a couple weeks and like learn how to do one part and like make it look right. Cause
I mean,
it's like so
yeah.
infuriating to watch. So this was actually like, I felt really satisfied watching Walk the Line because they
That
actually
does
like
grind
learned
my
how to do
gears,
it.
man.
Was
That's why
that?
the Jimi Hendrix movie, well, not only that, but the Jimi Hendrix movie has been so hard because not only is his family just the greediest family of all time, so they won't let anyone use their...
The songs?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's like some weird...
How can they
have
not
this-
use the songs? How did
they're
they make
not
a movie
allowed-
without
they're
the
not
songs?
licensing any of his music to the movie unless something changed, but for the longest time they weren't. And on top of that, it's Jimi Hendrix. Like, how are you going to look like Jimi Hendrix when you play?
What's the guy
Like,
from Outkast, right?
Yeah,
It's Andre
I-
who looks a lot like Jimi.
I think that movie has been in the making for like
It's been like
20
a
years.
decade, yeah.
Richard Pryor movie.
Jesus,
Just
yeah.
can't happen.
Yeah. Anyway,
Or the Queen movie. It took forever to make because it had all these different castings. And
I still haven't seen that one.
I thought the Queen movie was really
Me neither.
good.
I haven't seen
Maybe that'll be on our
Elton
list.
John either.
We should watch that as a house. Anyway, that's what I've been doing is watching music movies and and reading Bukowski. What have you been doing, Tommy?
I've been streaming and like not actually physically streaming, but learning how to stream and working on my setup for streaming. And we're really close to having something really cool to bring music to people. And I think that as we become the restrictions loosen more and more, we can incorporate more music into it. And I think it could be something that's really fun. And I've been doing the Concord Couch concerts with a small group of people. And that's we were featured on the first episode, which was May 1st. And then they had a May 15th one. And then this Friday, which I'm not sure when this is going to air, but
June 5th is
June
this Friday.
5th is the third episode.
And then June 19th is the next one.
And I've been really, really kind of threw myself all into that when this happened because I had not a lot else to jump into besides the shelter sessions and whatnot.
And you have a sound engineering background too.
It's kind of
you're
the
kinda
one. It's
playing
kind of
to
the
your
one part of my
strengths.
sound engineering that I've never really gotten into is like video and broadcast of it. And I figured if I could learn the video side of it and the broadcast side of it, I already have the sound side of it. So I can make it sound good. Now I can make it look good, and then I can broadcast it to wherever it needs to be. And that's kind of been the big project that I've been doing. Besides that, and learning how to play banjo, of course.
Yeah.
Which
that's
soon.
been fun.
That's like our best kept secret. We
Yeah.
keep on teasing the banjo, but then there's
You know,
no evidence.
Tom-
I think it's gonna be really funny if we
Tom
just
is
tease
good
it
at the
forever.
banjo.
If we just tease it
He's
forever,
good
we
at
just
it.
never drop it. Just keep teasing
Like
it.
our vinyls.
Yeah.
Just like
That's a sore subject. We're gonna get some clarity on that hopefully in the next few
vinyls
days.
coming soon. Hopefully,
we
understand. It's production stopped.
Every
Yeah.
any factory or whatever
communication
is
stopped.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
that's
That's
where the problem
bullshit.
is.
But
the
like
problem.
any like big factory thing of production, like I understand. We just want a little.
They could have hand pressed it one at a time and
Yeah. Well, we were supposed to get like a what's it called, like
Hand
a
scribed
demo or like
Yeah,
a
we're supposed to get a test print.
a test print. So that we're waiting on that.
It'll be here May 15th. Don't worry.
It's oh, Tom, I feel so much better now that you said that.
Silk tar. Anyway,
guitar, yeah.
Silk tar vibes
It's
for
just
sure.
a way of feeling now.
Silk tar vinyls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the name of our.
That's the
it's gonna
vinyl
be the
press
name of our
company.
studio, Silk Tar.
We should say anyway, how about you, Alante?
I mean, what do I don't know. What do I do? I drink Mountain Dew. I go outside and miss putts.
Yeah, we do a lot of that.
You lost to me in disc golf yesterday. That was fun.
Yeah.
I don't win very often, so it's
Yeah,
nice
that's true.
to get a W.
Tom beat me on the
We
last
have
hole.
been playing quite a bit of disc golf.
I've gone on a couple of hikes, which have been fun.
That's
where
cool.
are you hiking at?
Like Lake Chabot and stuff
Okay.
like
That's
that.
a good one.
Okay.
Yeah, man, that's pretty much it.
Working
I
on video.
Don't watch movies.
Video editing.
Hey,
I've been
doing a lot.
yeah,
You're
I've been
doing a bunch
editing
of
a lot
video
videos.
editing.
Yeah. I
Trying to put together the vlog.
yeah, man. I mean,
Blog.
you know,
Vlog.
yeah. Our YouTube channel is going to be coming out pretty soon. So
That's a huge job you've been
Yeah,
doing.
it's been
That's
a lot of
awesome.
work
It's gonna
to
be
kind of get
lit.
the foundation
Yeah.
yeah, it's
poured
gonna
on
be cool.
that.
I would think maybe like within the month. Probably
Yeah.
by this time next month, we should
For
have.
sure within the year, though.
Yeah,
Like, at least within the year.
it'll be out
I
this
think
year,
it'll be
but
within the month.
hopefully
We'll
it's in
see.
June.
It's going to be here by May 15th.
Yeah.
It'll be here May 15th.
Friday,
I
May
love it.
15th.
No, yeah,
I
that's
hope
probably
it
the
stays
biggest one,
in.
man. That's what I'm excited about right
Yeah.
now. Other than just doing these podcasts and shelter sessions and relentlessly making fun of Tom and
Yeah.
all that stuff that we do on a
Writing.
day-to-day basis. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, I wish I've been doing a lot more songwriting, but for some reason, I haven't really caught the songwriting bug in this quarantine.
Me neither.
I've been trying to do more production stuff, like you, Tom. Like we've put our heads together on a lot of live streams.
Concord Live.
Concord Live, the Concord Couch concert, 2 jam cellar
Yeah.
sessions. So we've been really working hard, and it's one thing that I've noticed about the streaming success that we've had compared to like the playing live success that we've had is the streaming. You just get so many more eyeballs on
Yeah.
what you're doing. It's like all of our, and this is another hashtag humble brag, but like our stats that you can see on like podcasts, Spotify, all that stuff, views on Instagram, whatever you want to, whatever metric, it's gone up a lot in the last month, and that's just from doing Concord Live, Concord Couch concerts the month before, and 2 jam cellar sessions, and that's 3 shows in May, 4 shows in May, but it's been way more successful for us than any 4 live shows we had or any month of live shows that we had.
I want to challenge you on that, though,
right.
because, so how many times have you been drunk at a bar and seen a band come on and they just rip? And they're like, our name is whatever name it is. And you're like, I'm going to remember that. And you go home that night, and the next morning you wake up and you've forgotten that name or you've forgotten that thing. We have a captive audience in their house on their computer already, presumably. And we say, we're Radiokeys, and you can find us at radiokeysmusic.com. And we have like this captive audience that's like right next to their computer, and they can instantly go back and like look up our stuff and our name. it's a huge advantage to
So
have
you
someone
agree
there.
that it's
so
better.
I said I was going to. I
It's
started off
positive
by.
in different ways.
I
I
started
feel
off by
like.
saying I was going to challenge you, and
Yeah,
I
it
realized
sounds
that's
like
not the
you're
right.
agreeing with me.
That's not the right
feel like you're
verbiage.
agreeing
The right
with me.
verbiage is like there's a metric. There's a reason why, and I think that it's cool to see people streaming, and it's cool to see like the love that we've gotten from our streams, and how our metrics on all of our stuff have gone up from streaming and reaching out to people. I think
Another.
that's cool.
Can I say
wait,
real
really quick? Let
No,
me
you go.
finish on that. The main thing though is obviously it's way cooler to see a ripping band live in person, and obviously it's way cooler to play a live show in front of a live audience.
Obviously.
It's better
but-
for everyone.
But we're getting way more success with streaming, and it's just for every reason you just said, where people are right there. Oh, I'm going to follow them on Spotify right now. Boom, I did it. I mean, people could be doing that in the bar, but they're not, because they're drinking or talking to their
Hanging
friend or
out
whatever.
and
Or their
forget
phone's
about it.
dead.
Yeah, or their phone's dead, like
Whatever.
mine always is. But
Yeah.
Mine is right now.
anyway, that's something that I've thought is really cool, and we're definitely going to start venturing into the stream zone quite a bit.
I was going to say it's also really positive with streaming. Like, I've never had so many of my friends. I have a lot of friends that are far away that are
Totally.
never going to see us play live. And they reach out to me and they say, hey, we saw you play this and we saw you play this. My friend in Australia, Carrie, my friends in New York, like, that are just like, they're not going to see us play live and they want to see us live, or family members and that kind of thing. So it kind of extends. So outside, and even extending past our friends and our family that are far away, that are not going to see us play Concord and Oakland and whatever, you know, it extends that audience.
Yeah.
You know,
it
like for
definitely
example,
does.
Jam Sellers, the people that follow that are just people that visit Napa and then they live elsewhere and then they follow that page and then they see us
Well,
and they
that's-
live in
yeah.
Texas
That's
or
the
wherever.
other
And it's
thing.
like, it's like
Completely out of market.
the spider web just grows and
Or
it's just
they
like,
just follow the Jam Sellers Facebook page because they went to the tasting room like
that's what I'm saying.
5
yeah.
years ago. Yeah, and I agree with
And
you.
they
I'm
like the
just
wine,
saying,
which is
like, it's just
amazing.
so like if we can
Just
get
opens up
get
our-
these venues to put on bands and on their social media, they already have this huge like footprint, and they already put on bands regularly. If they allow bands to go live on their streaming service, like on their
Platform.
social media pages,
Yeah.
it'll give them a platform to be able to play to new audience members. And I think it's a symbiotic relationship.
It's sort of the
I think it's
yeah.
it's easy content for that company, and it's great exposure for the band. And I know that exposure is kind of a dirty word with bands, but like on social media, if you can be exposed to more people with a virtual tip jar, and people are actually going to support that, and then
and the
also
venue's paying you.
all of your streaming stuff is going to go up, and all of your Spotify is going to go up, and all of these different things, and there's a rise in tide because you've put yourself in front of more eyeballs. I think it's a great thing.
We had an 81% increase last month.
It's incredible.
I don't think any of us could have guessed that during quarantine. You know, we saw these virtual gigs coming up and we're like, okay, yeah, this will be fun. And it, you know, I don't know if any of us were as optimistic about it as it turned out to be, like as
Well, we were
positive.
just
I didn't
taking-
think it was going to be real. I was like, this is going to
I was
blow
like, no
over
one's
in,
gonna
like,
watch this,
a
right?
week.
And like, it just didn't seem like
SARS.
Yeah,
in the
I thought it
real
was gonna be
world.
like SARS for
In the
sure.
real world, when people went live on Instagram, I was like, I don't know what's happening, and I just ignored it. You know, like I just feel like in the real world, it's like people have things to do, and I don't think we realize like the gravity of like people that wanted to actually watch these virtual happy hours and stuff like that. And so I feel like we were almost like pleasantly surprised by that.
Mhm.
It was like,
Yeah,
oh
for sure.
shit, we do have like a platform in this,
But
and
yeah,
it's
yeah,
really good.
I think the streaming is killer, but other than that, I've taken up gardening. I've been gardening a lot.
You're killing it with the
And,
garden.
with tomatoes.
What do you
Yeah.
tell us?
Specifically
tell us-
The tomatoes are
tomatoes.
doing real well.
The tomatoes
other
are
Tell us
stuff-
where
10 out
you're
of
growing.
10.
We're
On
literally
average, we're about a 6
killing
out
the
of 10.
garden.
Yeah, we're literally killing it. No.
No, the tomatoes look great. Stu,
they're
what else are
getting
you
there.
growing? Cilantro we used for tacos the other night.
I've been trying to grow jalapenos. They had a bunch of issues because pests devoured them early, but then I kind of pruned them down, and now they're rebounding, but they're basically back to square one. Cilantro is already kind
We
of
also have,
bolted, turning into flowers, so that's a minus. Rosemary is doing well. Yeah, that's pretty much it, honestly.
Tomatoes. But those tomatoes
are
though.
doing really
Tomatoes
well.
are
But I'm
killing
trying hard, and I think the thing is you never kill it unless you're talking about a garden, then you do kill it, but literally kill it. But you're never good at something the first time you try
Trial
to
and
do
error,
something.
yeah.
So I started to watch a lot more like YouTube videos about gardening and stuff. And
Well, the
like,
thing is,
that's what I've been doing.
yeah,
educate
that's
yourself.
why I've been
Yeah,
screwing
I'm
up. So-
overwatering.
and it's also
yeah.
like very calming.
Yeah.
I feel like to
to
garden.
watch things grow.
Yeah,
oh, I love
it's
it.
very calming and rewarding too.
Yeah.
So I've been doing that and playing a ton of board games with my girlfriend.
Aw,
So.
that's great.
and a little bit of disc golf with us.
And a lot of disc golf. Yeah, I was
We got the
playing
basket in the
quite a
backyard
bit.
now, so we've been
Yeah.
doing putting practice, and then we actually went out and played. That was awesome.
Walks have been great. I love walking.
Yeah, we've done some walks. A little bit of new walks in the.
Judge other people's homes
New
and
new
their
neighborhood.
color schemes. It's a fun time.
Anyway, any last thoughts people want to have? We're approaching an hour
Um,
here, and that's with a bunch of bullshit I'm going to edit out in the beginning for sure. But
or not,
yeah,
or
Oh,
not.
that's
we don't
getting
want
edited out for sure.
we don't want that.
Do we want
Yeah.
to talk about any like ideas for project on the horizon?
So we do have an idea for doing maybe a short acoustic record similar to the Shelter Sessions, but maybe a little bit more
Original songs.
original.
Yeah.
Yeah, mainly more original, and we'll
We
kind
have
of
some
figure
on
out the
deck.
instrumentation.
Yeah.
But probably more acoustic. And then once all this gets lifted, and then, hopefully we can make it back to Prairie Sun and reconnect with Nate and all those guys and maybe produce another electric record, like a full-length record.
Yeah.
But one of my, I think I got cut off or we started talking about other shit, but one of my goals for 2020 was to release another record.
Right.
And we already released the Shelter Sessions. It's not a full record, but it's a half record, and we're only 4 or 5 months in.
So you got your...
So one of my goals has already been at least halfway completed.
So we need another half record. Is what
we
you're
need another
saying.
half
Yeah.
record is what I'm saying. We need
So
to
like
do
a
it now.
6-song
Yeah.
acoustic EP. We'll do it.
Well, I look at people like Charlie Crockett who are releasing record after record after record, and I'm like, dude, that's what I want to do. I want
Yeah.
to just constantly release music.
yeah.
And,
He's the hardest working man in show business.
Yeah, for sure. The new hardest working man. But so I think we're gonna have an acoustic record, hopefully of original tunes. We're gonna get started on it, and Emily and I were on a podcast called
right.
The Creatives. It's actually more like a radio show. I got the idea that it was like an NPR radio show where they talk to us and play music in the background while we're
Right.
talking, like that kind of thing. An interview, and if you Google Dana Pontius, Ponteous, it'll be on one of his channels, I think, in the next week or so.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely put that.
We chat for like 45 minutes.
Yeah, we'll definitely put that on our social media. And
medias,
we'll
yeah.
link
Is this
to
the
it.
one that specifically said don't bring me and Tom, or is that the other one?
No,
Yeah,
it was that
well,
one.
they said don't
that
bring
was the one.
Alante, and
They-
and then we decided not to bring Tom.
Well, they
Per-
just
yeah.
assumed they meant Tom too.
Yeah, okay.
We're a package.
Yeah,
Is
we are.
why. Yeah,
Yeah,
No
You guys
rhythm
are a
section.
unit.
a unit.
big unit.
We're
A
a
big
we're a
unit.
conspiracy.
Oh no. Conspiracy
The
rhythm
conspiracy
section.
of units.
A conspiracy of rhythm section.
Oh no.
Yeah, and so anything you guys are looking forward to? Or you want to wrap this sucker up?
Yeah, man, I'm just looking forward to launching the old YouTube channel. That's pretty much what
It's-
I'm looking at right
it's
now.
close.
We're close.
What kind of content is going to be on there? Because I know a lot of people are just like, well, what else can you possibly have other than music and podcasts? And
We got some fun
Photos.
stuff, man. We got just kind of more of an inside look into what we are, how we are without guitars and drumsticks in our hands.
Yeah.
You know, we got the bartending with the band series, which I think is really fun.
Yeah.
Emily just did a fire one.
Aw.
Stu's is really good too. And
Honorable
then,
mention.
and then we got
honorable mention.
we got a regular vlog series, which is going to be just, everyone's watched a vlog, man, day to day. You can see Tom cook eggs.
Love it.
You know,
Fire
you can
eggs.
see how the lead
Well,
guitar.
he broke the eggs.
He broke the
Spoiler alert.
eggs.
in transport after I cooked the fire eggs.
That's exactly how you said it. It's kind of creepy, but
I like flipped it over and it was perfect, and like I moved it over to the plate and it broke, and I was like,
you can
Like
see
fumbling it on the 1 yard line.
it's
Eggs
like
are hard, man. I've been cooking
throwing
them
to
for 20
the
years. and I
cornerback
still
on the
suck
1 yard line and losing the Super Bowl.
You can see how the lead guitar player and singer, half lead singer of Radiokeys parties and relaxes on a Friday.
Or a Tuesday.
Because
all
you know,
the days are the same
they're
right
all
now.
the
What
same.
is
Who
time?
cares?
And just stuff like that. And then,
Oh, it's fun.
You know, these podcasts are going to be on there too.
Yeah.
Video.
This is actually the first video one we've been doing. So
Yeah.
Yeah. So, got that to look forward to. And then just outside of music, man, I'm looking forward to some sports, man. Just some sort of real life coming back. You know, that'll be nice.
Yeah.
Getting to watch some UFC fights has been really nice. And then getting to know Oscar is probably my...
Oh, that warms my heart.
I just love Oscar. I like to walk by him and...
Little
and
thick daddy Oscar.
I squeeze him because he's just... he lays like a human.
The cat
Yeah, he
channel
lays like a
on the
human.
podcast. I mean, on the YouTube channel.
We should definitely have some kind of dedicated cat episodes.
So I was talking to
100%.
Alante. We either need to A, mount a camera on a cat.
No.
Probably hard to do. B, mount a camera on one of the
Fuck off, PETA.
Roomba machines that we have, and we can drive it around and follow the cats.
Dude, that
Oh, that's
sounds-
way more fun.
Because the cats
So-
follow the Roomba.
They love Robot.
It's coming
yeah.
soon to the YouTube channel.
So
Also coming
That's
soon.
definitely coming. But I just got to say, when you walk past Oscar and he goes...
Yeah.
It sounds like you're stepping on a
as
duck.
Our friend Ben said, like stepping on a duck.
Yeah.
He said that in a very loving way, but it's like stepping on a duck.
But yeah,
How
man,
many
that's
times have
all.
you stepped on a duck, don't you know?
But
But you know the sounds.
It's he's Siamese tabby, so he sounds kind of aggressive and like his voice box is broken.
I also have
Anyway.
a super fire story that I want to tell. So you're gonna have to stay tuned
shit.
for the next podcast, and I'm gonna.
Oh, I thought it was going to be this
I'm
podcast.
so excited.
I think we're running a little long, man.
Yeah, we're running a
a little long, but we'll maybe open up the next one with a real fun story
That sounds
some-
good.
Maybe.
something that maybe it'll.
It might
May
be on the
15th.
YouTube channel. I don't know. You'll just have to follow
May
it all.
15th, everyone, is everything's going to be released.
But I think you guys will think that story is fun and funny, and
I'm into it.
you guys will stay tuned.
Tommy,
come
Emily?
back.
Yeah, how we doing, Tommy, Emily? Tomily?
Happy, good.
I'm very fantastic.
Yeah.
We should
All right.
do one of those sports breaks.
All right. Well, I guess if you're listening right now, go on your Spotify and follow our band Radiokeys. We'll wait. No. I'm just saying.
We'll wait.
We'll wait.
We're going to just hang out
The
here
little
until
follow
you do
button,
that?
just click on it.
Yes,
We'll
follow.
get added to your algorithm.
And go on Instagram, follow at Radio Keys Music.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm Stuart. This is Emily, Tom, Alante.
And
We're
we'll
Radiokeys.
see you on the other side.
It's
Yeah.
way better than
We'll see you
Sweet
on-
Soul Music.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I just
See
wanted
you
to-
on the other side.
All right. Later, everybody.
Beautiful.
Sweet Soul Music.
Dude, the Sweet Soul Music is so good. but
Wait,
See You on
I
the
was
Other
waiting for
Side
it.
is better.
We were waiting for-
If you see him, say hello from an old friend. Can't say if we'll see his face again. Tell him it gets mighty cold, driving up that high road. You see him, say hello to him, meet again. Last we heard he was hopping trains in Tennessee. Changed his name, cut his hair, carved a hat on his sleeve. Switched from cocaine to menthols, down that sweet song music. Searching for the